Hi, parents, teachers, clinicians, anybody who is looking to this video for a little bit of support. Thanks for joining me for a minute. So I have a story that I like to use as an example of how to tell whether a child is in crisis or if they're just being manipulative. And certainly I hear a lot from parents, my child is so smart and they're so manipulative, they're so good at manipulating the situation, they know how to get whatever it is they want. And I use this story as an example. So let's say you're in the grocery store and you go by the aisle of the very sugary cereals, the whole breakfast aisle, right? And the kids, there's a 2-year-old kid and they're on the floor and they're having just an utter meltdown because they want a certain kind of cereal. And the parent is really aggravated and intense and upset and everybody's looking and it's really kind of a big situation, right? Now, at this point, the parent is either going to hold a strong boundary or give in. But that's not really the topic. Well, that's certainly a topic for another video. But I'm wondering how most people interpret whether or not that child's in crisis or that child's just being manipulative. How could they be in crisis? Well, let me explain. If the child that morning had a very sugary breakfast and mom's been running around all day and has had to drop the stuff off and she's running her own business and she's got to make sure this stuff is happening and this kid is he's had a rough morning and everything and now they're at the grocery store trying to pick something up and neither of them have eaten yet. And so the kid's having an utter sugar crash and the body is craving sugar. The body is looking for a way to get that chemical relief in the brain. And so that's crisis. That's literally what a neurological crisis looks like. Now that's a very small example. But what I have come to realize in working with teens at risk is that human beings only get manipulative when they feel like they need to control an environment. We only feel like we need to control an environment when we feel out of control, or if we're afraid of our environment slipping out of our control. So what if crisis and manipulation are the same thing? What if somebody going into crisis or someone being manipulative is literally a sign that the other is happening, that we're only going to go into crisis mode when we need to manipulate our environment, or we're only going to manipulate our environment when we're in crisis mode? That's the only way that we actually feel back in control, is by getting what we want. And want is just another watered down expression of true need. And when we talk about the 5 basic human needs, if that child is on the ground having a meltdown because they are not getting the cereal that they want, one of their needs aren't being met. And that's a much deeper conversation than just being reactive to the child being a pain in the butt because they want sugar bombs, frosted morning sugar bombs. So the sum total of this conversation is this. Crisis and manipulation are the same thing. People only manipulate when they're in crisis. And that crisis could come from a neurological subject or an environmental subject. That could be attached to any number of things. But if we just focus on the manipulative behavior and say that teenager is just manipulating me, then we're going to miss the crisis. We're going to miss that what is really being said, which is I have a need, one of 5 basic human needs. And it's not getting met. So I need to manipulate my environment so that I get what I need. What if drugs, alcohol, cutting, promiscuity, running away, anger, depression, anxiety, what if all of these things were a means to an end and the end is getting a need met? Well, that would make us look differently at crisis behavior. And that's what we do at Fire Mountain. We don't just react to the fact that the teenager's in crisis and acting out. We don't just react to their being manipulative and trying to control us. We recognize that they are in crisis and trying to control their environment because something is happening. Internally, externally, a trigger is taking place. If you need more support like this, please go to any of our podcasts on beyondriskandback.com and listen to the experts, the clinicians, and the teenagers all talking about this experience of being at risk and coming all the way back. If you have any questions, you can also call our facility at 303-443-3343. I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks so much for watching.